It is beautiful. So this was the start of the true cross-cultural nature of my life, really. Marrying into a French family. That was the beginning. I'm Kathleen Connors Bouchaud, and my husband is working for the European Investment Bank, and he is the EIB representative here in Morocco. I've lived in, the US. It started out in the US, then Paris, then Uganda, then Ghana, then back to Paris, then to Washington, D.C. again, then to Luxembourg, then to Morocco, which is where I am now. So I work as a communications trainer for intergovernmental organizations, OECD, Inter-American Development Bank, European Commission, African Development Bank, the Organization for Security Council in Europe, doing presentations, training, and report writing, how to write technical books, technical reports, impromptu speaking. And that's basically what I was doing at the World Bank. So when I left the World Bank to join my husband, it was supposed to be in Mozambique, but we ended up in Paris. He's French. I was actually super happy just to be mommy. I thought, yes, I'm free, I just get to be mommy. And then I was on my own though. That was me. So that's when I started my own consultancy, and it's gone ever since this age, actually, since he was 6 months old. I've had my own consultancy, and I was able to keep that because many women, spouses, but most of us spouse expats are women who are following the men, and many of them are not able to continue their work, and it's super, super sad. I can't tell you how it pains me to see so many of these super intelligent, well-educated, super efficient and effective women in all these countries I've been in, and basically they're just trying to organize lunches and teas and so forth. And I know that's a good thing. As I said, I have that part of me, but I feel sad that they can't, tap into the other sides of themselves. And I've been lucky to be able to, because I do this communications training. So no matter where I am in the world, I just fly back to wherever my client is. And then in Uganda, I started my African life. And I decided that I was going to be even freer. And I said to myself at that point that I was going to do anything that I wanted. I was going to tap deep down in myself and think, what is it that I've really, really always wanted to do? Now I have the time and the opportunity to do it. Deep down, actually, I remember when I was even teeny tiny, my birthday wish every year was always to help the children in Africa, believe it or not, or the poor children in the world. And it was something that stayed with me, and I got my education degree, but kind of had lost that vision. And then when I went to work for the World Bank in Washington, that whole dream kind of came back. And I actually was going to stop working for the World Bank and go into the Peace Corps, but then my husband asked me to marry him, and I said yes, and we ended up in Africa anyway. And I started these amazing projects, which are so close to my heart, and they were different projects in Uganda, across East Africa, and I did a few in Eritrea as well. So this is about women in justice in Eastern Africa, and this is looking at justice within the cultures, marriage, initiation rights like female genital mutilation, for example, domestic sexual violence, also looking within the economies, land ownership, because a lot of them weren't able to, depending on the country or the subculture, able to own land. The idea was to send them to every single family in Uganda. It was such an eye-opening experience, that Uganda experience. I had already lived out of my country in Paris, but there's nothing like living in Africa. Just amazing experiences that you just can't get in the suburbs of America, which is where I grew up. This is one of my favorite pieces from Uganda. Actually, this is a really nice artist, Kabito, in Uganda, and these we got when we lived in Ghana. I love these too. Look at this gorgeous thing. I've still never gotten away from them. Every house, because every house I move into, we bring our furniture. Our furniture and our art, it's like our pets. We have it, and it's only then that we feel we're home again, because it would be hard. In fact, it doesn't matter whether we own the house or rent the house. I always need to feel I'm home somewhere. It's too hard not to. You can't live in this life of an expat, moving from country to country, thinking, okay, I'm going to be leaving, so. No, you place your roots there, you place them deep, you make your home. And I'm going to be sappy and say the home is where the heart is. I don't even know what that means, but for us, I don't know. It's my home. That's what it means. I make this mine. I put my soul into my homes. So this is something, I mean, I love them. I remember going back to the US in 2004 after having left the country for 7 years. And I was stunned. I can't tell you how stunned I was. This was the height of the real estate market. People were mortgaging their house, putting second mortgages on their house. I'm not kidding you. To buy, okay, a new car, a second home on the beach, and also things like deep fried turkey outdoor barbecues. I mean, come on. Who needs, I know this is, but who needs their own personal deep fry outdoor turkey barbecue? And that wasn't just one person. It was like whole communities. And I was like, come on, you guys, wait a minute, what's going on here? This is not the country I left back in 1997. There was something weird going on. And I remember saying, this country is sitting on a bubble, and you guys can't see it. You're sitting on a bubble, and it's got to burst at some time. There is no free lunch in the world. This has got to burst, and indeed it burst. And we all know when it burst. It burst 4 years later. Very, very sad. You cannot stay insulated, isolated in your own teeny tiny town, region, country, part of the world. You have got to understand about other people and how people think, how people live, and you can't do that unless you go. And I know not everyone has the opportunity like I've had to live in so many different places. I understand that, but I also know that a lot of people are just resisting any type of information gathering which will help understand how other people think. You've got to spread out. You've got to be curious. That part, hopefully, we've given to our son, because that's the only thing that's going to save this planet. I wanted to show you this one because I love it. This is from my Paris days, but also because it's from a very, very close friend. I met in Paris when our boys were very tiny, so we were young mothers together, and she's now passed away. But it just reminds me of the other part of expat life, which is how difficult it is to, well, not be so close to family and friends, especially in their time of need. I was able to be with her once in California because then they moved to California. But I wasn't able to be there for her funeral or to help out, you know, more than that, her husband and her boys. I've missed many other funerals and of loved ones, aunts, uncles, cousins, and that's definitely a hard part. That's something that well, it's just, yeah, it'll never go away. So there aren't all wonderful sides of this life, but that's how it is. We are all many people inside, and that's why I love my life, because I have been so lucky, I think, to be able to live so many parts of myself. That is what I love. And I love change. The universe will take you where you need to go. Sometimes you won't like that place and sometimes you will, but it will take you where you need to go.